Okay, this is Shelly from Hodgepodge again. Day 2 of the Every Bit Counts challenge. I have got cucumbers that's sitting in ice water, has been for a while, it's draining out. And I try to let them sit in there at least an hour. Really helps keep them crisp. And I bought me a new blade for my vintage Ronco cutter. I found it on eBay. So it's going to give me that waffle chip kind of look that I like for pickle chips, so just to give me a little bit of variety, which I've done videos on cutting up, doing pickles anyway, so this isn't nothing new. And this is the first time that I'm using this cutter, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me. It gives you the rippled chip look. So I'm going to get all these cut up. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to get these cut up and get them in jars and get them canned. I use Mrs. Wage's kosher dill pickle mix, and I've showed that in other videos too. So it's 10 minutes for pints in a water bath, and pickles is an easy thing to do. So I'm going to get these done and get on to my next project. I ended up getting 4 pints. I did 2 pints of the waffle chip style and then 2 pints of just the sliced. I know it looked like I wasn't doing very good with the slicing on that new blade, but once I figured it out, it was just fine. You've seen me using it for the first time. Now, the next thing is, here is the mix that I use. I love Mrs. Wage's. I like the kosher dill. Instructions are really easy. I've actually got them memorized. I've used it for so long. So yeah, they'll be in my canner for 10 minutes and then I'll bring them out. And then I have got a bunch of the cherry tomatoes I've got to get froze. I bought seeds this early, well, it might have still been winter actually. And I got them from a small business online through Walmart, I think. I was just looking and I seen it. It said giant tomatoes, 1 to 2 pound fruits, and I thought, well, that will be great, you know, good for juice and making my salsa. I know paste is the best, but I like to mix them. And anyway, I've got several big cherry tomato plants out there, so the seeds was put in the wrong packaging. So anyway, I figured I'll just clean them, freeze them, and when I get a few gallon of them built up, I'll just use them for my juice. And then what big tomatoes I have, I'll still make for my salsa. So on to the next project. All right, tomatoes is all. I got a ½ gallon bag. I have 2 in there that had some bad spots on it, so I went ahead and put them in with here. I'll go ahead and throw them in the freezer. And when I get another round, which I'll probably pick them this afternoon, it should go ahead and fill it. Then I'll have tomatoes in there for when I'm ready to do juice, which I can do that in the off season if, you know, I'll have more time that way. Okay, the last thing for today is we pulled out all the bean plants that was in here, and we're getting ready to make hills, and we're going to put cucumbers in it for the later summer planting. Our cucumbers over there is doing okay, but I'd like to get more pickles on the shelf and relish. So we're going to get cucumbers in here to give this bed a break from beans. Those beans are starting to pop up in that bed. So we're going to get this planted Then I think that's about all I'll get done today, and then I'll have to start something new for tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. I am going to make salsa. I've got enough tomatoes to make a round of salsa. I use Mrs. Wage's mild salsa mix. It says you need around 6 pounds of fresh tomatoes, which equals about 18 mediums. I'm pretty close to here. I think it'll be good. I've got a bunch of little ones like this that probably takes about 4 or 5 to equal 1, but I think I've got enough for a round. I've got water heating up so I can drop these in to get the skins to slide off. Then I'll get this sink filled with ice water so I can shock them. And then I got my other pan over there waiting to get on the cutting board and get them all diced up. And then all you gotta do is throw the mix in with some vinegar. Let that simmer for so long and then it'll be ready to can up. Okay, I got my water going here. These are all been washed, bad spots taken off of them and cored. That's the yuck. I had a couple of bad ones. And my water is boiling, so now I'm going to be dropping tomatoes in it. And they'll stay in there just until I start seeing the peelings curl, then I know they're ready. And then I'll take them out, shock them in the cold water, and then get the peelings off of them, and then I can start dicing them up, and they'll become salsa. Okay, I got the tomatoes, all the skins off of them, just a rough chop. I don't worry about cutting them up fine because when we open a jar, we blend it because we like smooth salsa. So all I'm going to do is add 1 package of the Mrs. Wage's mix and a half a cup of vinegar per the instructions on the package. We're going to mix it up real good, and then I'm going to get it on the stove and let it simmer for a while, blend all that in, and then we're going to put it in jars. I should get 5 or 6 pints. I think it says on here that it'll do 5 pints maybe, so it already just smells good by just mixing it. So I'm going to get that all cooking and in the canner. Okay, this just got finished cooking, so we're going to get it ladled into jars and put in the canner. It says 40 minutes for pints, so I'm thankful to get these on my shelves because last year I didn't can hardly any because I had some from the year before, but this year we ran almost completely out, so I need to restock. Alright, I'm ending up with 5 pints. And I'm just waiting for it to come up to boil, and then once I do, I'll put the lid on now as soon as I'm done videoing. And once it gets to boiling, then it'll be 40 minutes, and then I'll have 5 more pints of salsa to put on the shelf. So next task is probably going to be working in the garden because I've got to get some stuff done. Okay, it's the next morning, and I've got another nice size amount of these cherry tomatoes. So I'm going to get these washed, cleaned, and put in the freezer with my other ones. And then our big thing for today is, sorry you're hearing the dishwasher. Our big thing for today is we're digging potatoes down at my in-laws. I don't know if I'll get much footage of that because it is at their house and not ours. But I can show you what we ended up with. And that means that starting next week, I will start canning my chunk potatoes and canning the fries, and then I'll also be freezing French fries. I say I can fries, but I have decided here lately, instead of frying them like French fries, I like to just open a jar and cut them up and make them into diced, and they're great for casseroles, soups, anything. And I'm actually out on the shelf, so I gotta can as many as I can this year. So the day's just beginning. We'll see where it takes us. Okay, here is what I brought home. Nice little jag of potatoes. I got the big kettle under there with all the small ones that we can just roast. There's what red potatoes I've got right now. This is not all of them, but this is what I'm going to get started with. And I got a pan there with the damaged or cut ones from when we was digging. So those will get eat first. So next week you're going to see me starting to can potatoes, which is good. I used my last jar, I think, Friday. All right, I'm getting a late start on this day. Today is August 4th, I believe. And I had some errands to run this morning. We picked these green beans yesterday afternoon. You can see there's not a lot. I'm hoping for 4 pints. And since it's not going to fill my pressure canner, I'm going to put 2 quarts of water in there as filler so they don't jiggle around. So I'm just going to get these in jars, super simple. Put a half a teaspoon of salt and boiling water in on them. And they will pressure can for 20 minutes at my altitude. Always check your altitude. My weight will be on 10, if you can see that. That's where I'll put mine. So always check your altitude. So after that, I'd like to do another small round of pickles. We'll see if I've got time. I've also got to get more. Them cherry tomatoes is just coming on like crazy. And the only thing I know to do with them, because we don't care to eat them raw. We like the big slicers. So I'll just keep freezing them in gallon bags till I get my freezer is too full. And then I'll thaw them out, and then we'll squish them down either to make sauce or juice with them. Because all my big tomatoes, my paste tomatoes, I'm trying to get enough to get all my salsa done. And right now salsa is so slow going, but my tomatoes are just now starting to really come on. So I'm gonna get these beans in jars and see if I've got time to do some pickles. All right, I think I am going to try to get at least these pickles canned. I'm hoping for 3 pints. It's 2, it's fine. I've got a small water bath canner, which is right here, and it'll hold 4 pints. So, and pickles only take 10 minutes, and I got my pressure cooker going. I got 4 pints of green beans in there, and then I put 2 quarts of just water for spacing. So I'm waiting for it to come up now for the steam, and then I gotta wait 10 minutes once it steams, and then I can get it up to 10 pounds of pressure and then start my timer. I got my pickling solution heating up now. I had extra from the other day because doing these small batches, I've always got some to put in the fridge. So I'm gonna get these sliced up and see how many pints I can come up with. All right, I ended up with 3 pints of slices, so that's good. I don't know if I've mentioned this on the last time I did it. I've done a full video on doing pickles, but this is the Mrs. Wages Extra Crunch. It really does help. So you only put it's 1/8 of a teaspoon per pint, and you put it in there. I don't know if it matters if you put it before or after. I always put it after. And then you put your pickling solution on, debubble, which I got my pickling solution here simmering. Don't have my tripod out. Let me see if I can do this without getting it out. It's not real complicated. Just get you some of this hot liquid. Put it down in there. There. I think it's like a 1/2 inch headspace. I think. I'd have to read the paper for sure. I know where it goes on the jar. I just have done it for so long. Always read your instructions if you're unsure. This is the Mrs. Wages Kosher Dill Quick Process Pickling Mix. It's our absolute favorite. We love the taste of it. Let me see if I can do this. All you'll do is debubble, wipe the rims really good. I've already washed them in mild soap water. You always want to do that. Don't just get them wet, even though they get sterilized in the water. So I've got them washed and ready, and I'll get these debubbled, lids on. They go in the water bath for 10 minutes, and then them's done. All right, yeah, I wanted to test it out. Looks great. This is how I'm going to do a lot of my fries this year, I believe. I love crinkle cut fries. Whenever my husband and I went to Pigeon Forge last month, we went into the Lodge store, and I seen this and grabbed it. Wasn't very much, so I thought of the fries whenever I got it. So yeah, those are going to work out great. My husband likes straight cut. I like crinkle cut, so I'll be doing both. So I ended up with 4 pints of green beans today and 3 pints of pickle slices, and got these all cut up, and I did get dinner done. We're having barbecued shredded chicken on whole wheat buns. Our local farm stand I special ordered, and she made me some whole wheat burger buns. So that is dinner tonight, and I think that's going to be about it. And then I'll be right back at it in the morning. So this is Shelly from Hodgepodge Hoosiers. If you like this kind of content, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, bye for now.